Hey YouTube, this is Pete with the Crystal Casino Band. Welcome back to another Thursday video. We just got back from performing one of our favorite concerts of all time. We sold out Pearl Street Warehouse, so we were still on this live music kick, so we thought it would be fun to tell you guys about some of our favorite concerts that we've ever been to, just as attendees. Because obviously as musicians, we love live music, we love performing it, and we also love seeing other musicians that have inspired us perform live as well. So if you're new here, we're the Crystal Casino Band. We're a Washington, D.C. based indie rock band that play upbeat indie rock with kind of sad lyrics, but it's still a vibe. You just gotta listen to yourself. So if you're new, just go check out our originals down on our YouTube page or Spotify, either one that you want to do. So you're probably thinking, oh, Pete, you love Tame Impala so much. You're a typical indie hipster guy. Was it Tame? Tame at the Anthem? Was that your favorite concert? No, it was not. My friend fainted during that. It was a traumatic experience. You're probably thinking, oh, you like the Walkmen a lot. Was it definitely when you saw Hamilton Lighthouser and Rasta made a surprise appearance at the Rock and Roll Hotel in Washington, D.C. with this album? No, not that either. Oh, it was definitely Jack White at Madison Square Garden with Run the Jewels opening for him, right? No, I got kicked out of that one. Come on, Pete, you love the Strokes so much. It's gotta be seeing the Strokes at the Landmark Music Festival in Washington, D.C. No, I did like that concert, but it's another one from that day. This is when I saw the War on Drugs at Landmark Festival in Washington, D.C., USA, baby. So picture this, it is 2015. I just got a text. It's 2015. Wide-eyed freshman Pete enters the big city, the big Washington, D.C. metro area as a George Washington University student. He looked a little bit like this before he got corrupted like this.
He looked a little bit like this before he got corrupted like this.
They were doing this music festival called Landmark Music Festival, which was only 1 year, so just the fall of 2015. It was a really fun experience that a lot of GW students got to attend as freshmen. And you were able to meet a lot of new people there. So I really enjoyed it for that reason. There were some great acts there that I saw, like the Strokes was one of them. Another night, Drake was a headliner, which was pretty crazy. This is the night that Drake was a headliner. Everybody wanted to see Drake, and I didn't want to do that. As the guitar geek that I am, I really wanted to see this band, The War on Drugs, which, to be honest, at the time, I only heard a few songs, but I still knew how good of an act that they would be. My aunt told me about them, and she said that she loved seeing them live in concert. All of our friends are waiting in line for Drake. Me and another friend decided to ditch them and go see The War on Drugs instead. And while we were waiting there was a bunch of clouds starting to rumble up. You could tell a storm was brewing. The storm was coming, Master Wayne. So the concert's going on, things are great. You can tell that shit is about to happen right now, with terms to the weather. The War on Drugs, this is the time that they released this album, Lost in a Dream, right here. So there's a song on this called An Ocean Between the Waves, and the one thing about that song is there are two crazy good guitar solos. One of them's a little bit more mellow, and the other one is a lot more distorted, and it feels really epic in it. And it was he was performing that song, he was about to hit the second guitar solo, his distortion comes on his guitar, right? He bends that first note, just the clouds start pouring rain. And you probably couldn't tell because it was raining, but it was just such a beautiful moment with music and the weather colliding into one crazy force that there were definitely a few tears shedding. I would say, yes, The War on Drugs, just because of that one moment, it's just so ingrained in my mind. Whenever I hear that song, I think of this exact moment. And yeah, that's why I have to say that this was my favorite concert that I've ever been to. I also really hope that they bring Landmark back. That was so cool. And also, if they do, we can play there. And I can't wait to see what Jarrod, Joey, and Jordan have to say about this.
Hey, what's up, guys? Here to talk about my most favorite concert experience. It is currently 6:08 on a Wednesday morning. Another sleepless night. Yeah, so here we go. My favorite, most memorable concert experience happened in October of 2015 when I saw Chance the Rapper in Silver Spring, Maryland at the Fillmore in Silver Spring. For those of you who know the Fillmore, it's sort of a smaller venue, and it was definitely the last tour that Chance went on where he was playing at venues of that size before he really sort of blew up and started doing SNL and started having like really big commercial success. So getting to see him at a venue like that was really awesome. I was in the front row. He was still playing a lot of his like acid rap music, which is like, you know, some of my favorite music ever. And at that time he was still traveling and touring with like basically just his band. So like the live instruments, you know, Donnie Trumpet was on that tour. And I don't know, I think he still has with him, he still probably tours with some live instruments, but now at this time it was exclusively just live instruments and him singing. And yeah, it was just like an incredible show. You know, he's an incredible dancer, incredible performer, and like I said, at that time, the music he was putting out, it was, you know, some of my favorite music still to this day. I think since that era, you know, I've cooled on Chance, as many people have, but you know, that's gonna happen. You know, you don't always like every single song in an artist's discography, so you know, it's all good. I actually got to meet Chance after this show. He was doing like a little meet and greet that I went, and yeah, I know he's a really nice guy. Little did I know at the time, you know, also Richard Elliott was in attendance at that concert. Of course, we've many years later become, you know, good friends, and you know, supporting Richard in his quest for the Maryland State House is you know, it's been really fun, really exciting. This has been my favorite concert memory, starring well, me.
Okay. So, what would have been my most favorite concert experience would have been 1975 No Sonic Digital Forum Tour. But there was a global health emergency, pandemic, COVID, whatever you want to call it. So that got canceled. That was supposed to be May 2020. So I have all my friends there, whole good time, but of course it didn't happen. As someone who lived under a rock in regards to live music, I've only been to one concert, and that was Jude and the Lion, which we opened for in September 2019, and that's kind of the show that made me realize, oh, live music is cool, because I wasn't expecting to just have so much fun just like watching people perform and like stuff like that. Honestly, like eye-opening for how cool it was and how much fun I was having watching the show and just getting into it. Like, I didn't know many of their songs, only knew one, and I had such a great time. It was really just life-changing, I guess, in a way. Yeah. So that's my story. My best live show I've ever seen.
Hey everyone, Jordan here from the Crystal Casino Bands in a post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. I'm here to talk to you about some of my most favorite live concert experiences I've ever had. I grew up in the metro area of New York City, and very gratefully, I think my most favorite aspect of it was the ability to see live concerts on such a whim. Going into the city on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night with my dad, and seeing some of the nation's top touring acts on some of the world's most famous stages and venues, with a New York audience too. I think there's such a reason why artists make New York such a focal point of their tours and of their careers even. The New York audience typically gives a level that's just not met in other cities, and artists understand that, and so does the crowd, and they just reciprocate it both back at each other, and it's really amazing to be a part of, I think. Growing up, I definitely was raised on a culture of live music. I think always at home I was watching with my dad live videos of famous rock artists, benefit concerts where these artists are getting together, sharing their talents, sharing these stages. So live music is definitely important to me, and I'm typically, even today, still, if I fall in love with a song, I want to hear how it's played live and how an audience first understands it and reacts to the live sound. I think most people would expect me to choose either a classic rock artist or a jam band artist as my favorite concert I've ever been to. I've seen Phish plenty of times, a number that I won't give today. Save it for bait for another vlog maybe. I do have this mantra that any Phish show is still, even if it's their worst Phish show, it's still probably better than most concerts I've been to, which I still believe is true. However, for entertainment purposes, I will not talk about Fish today, and I'll give you my most favorite concert experience, which is also not a rock band or even a classic rock artist. It was the summer of 2017, and I'm gonna sound like a jerk, pretentious jerk here, but I definitely had a personality of listening to Frank Ocean on vinyl too, to make it a little bit worse with my friends. We like just fell in love with, well, everyone loved Frank Ocean to begin with, but we would literally just like listen to Blonde, the Frank Ocean album on vinyl, and like just like fall in love with every single word and find something new to talk about. Just like obsessing over it was like such a way of bonding, I thought. And so Frank Ocean that summer of 2017, that's right, it was. He was playing, I think, 4 shows across the country, and Frank Ocean's not someone who typically does big tours or anything like that, and very much an enigma, culturally speaking, is very coy about his upcoming announcements, doesn't let you know, lets you guess about it, and wants you to stay mysterious about what he's doing. So Frank Ocean had announced he was playing Panorama Festival on Randall's Island Park in New York City that summer. My friends and I decided we were going to go up to see it, considering he still hasn't toured since that period, so it was a good decision on us. We saw Solange, Tyler, the Creator, Future Islands, and we're definitely beat by the end of the day, but Frank Ocean was the last act and completely blew my mind. That same experience we had being in a dorm room listening to the vinyl of Frank Ocean was surprisingly met with a crowd of tens of thousands of people at Randall's Island. He had like headphones on in his studio set too, like he was like making beats in his studio, and the cinematography was amazing. It was Spike Jonze who was doing it. So you felt like you were in a drive-in theater and knew that Frank Ocean was there live in front of you, but part of it, he was just ignoring you and didn't fully acknowledge that the audience was there. I wouldn't say it was raucous by any means, but it was raucous in the sense that everybody had their eyes glued to every step that he was doing, which I can't say about most acts I've ever been to. People were confronting this enigmatic figure up front on stage, and were just completely silent for the most part too. He sang his most famous songs like Ivy, Viking, or at least my favorites. And people would sing to them, they would mouth the lyrics, but they were just completely transformed, I would say. Nobody was even chatting at the concert. So his grip on the audience, I think, is why he's up there, my most favorite concert I've ever seen. His ability to create intimacy on a grand stage, I think, was just amazing, and I think a lot of it was PR, public relations, but good for him, honestly. It was truly something I think about a lot, honestly. You're not able to find videos of it on YouTube. You can't find footage of the concert, of any of those special shows he did that summer, which is further reason why I think it's such ingrained in my mind, because my memory is literally all I have to remember it. Also, in a New York City public park, so many bonus points for that too as well. Generally, I have a disrespect for when people bring up festival experiences as their favorite concerts. I typically find it to be not true to the artist. You know, they can be in a venue where they curate it entirely, but a festival has so many confounding factors that you just can't manage, that I don't think it's fair to judge an artist based on a festival performance, especially when not everyone there is buying a ticket to see that artist. So if somebody else had mentioned a festival experience, I think I'd be mad about it. And I typically am, but it is kind of ironic that my favorite concert experience is at a festival, which is interesting to say the least. So there you have it. I'll end it there and let you on with your day, but farewell, Frank Ocean Panorama 2017. Take care. Bye-bye.
So if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.